videos again. Why does it look different in here?
We have an office now. You have a desk.
What are you talking? Holy crap, we have an office!
Welcome to Super Office Land, man. Here, we can get anything we want. See, there's Frasertown, USA.
I don't know what I'm doing.
There's Alex Koopa Troopa Beach. There's
I want a badger in pajamas.
Badger with pajamas. That's what you chose for?
This is the best day ever!
Yes!
Durdley Kurg Kernchley. What the Kurgley?
We're back, guys. Happy New Year, everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of The Completionist. Before we begin, the Bears t-shirts are selling like crazy, and they were temporarily sold out, but we've got more in stock. Do not worry if you've not received yours yet. They haven't shipped because we haven't signed the posters, but sometime soon, you'll be getting them. After 2 years of working out of my house, we finally got an office space for us to film the show and work on all of our other projects like Defended and Top 10s and whatnot. It's really exciting to have our own space, our own little workspace. This is where I work.
That's the size of it. There's no more space.
This is where I work.
This is all we could afford.
Speaking of the new year, we're planning on rebooting our second channel, Super Beard Brothers, with a different look and feel. But before we do that, we're going to review a few of those games from that lineup, which kind of makes this Super Beard Brothers month. So it's me, Alex, and Greg teaming up. And our first game on the list is Donkey Kong Country. Donkey Kong Country. This was actually my first exposure to Donkey Kong, and let me tell you, as a kid, it was awesome. He had a boombox, a red tie, a fun sidekick that wore a red Nintendo hat. I wanted that hat! And this game pushed the Super Nintendo to its limits, with the wonderful 3D graphics rendered in a 2D side-scrolling plane.
But Batman, you're reviewing Donkey Kong Country? Is this the end of the world as we know it? Will Donkey Kong ever get his banana horrid back?
Hold your horses, Greg. Gerard said the last episode of The Completionist, whenever that day may be, will be Donkey Kong Country 2. That's 2 as in deuce. We're not there yet, bro. Cool it.
Alright, that's enough. Let's get monkey-fied. So everybody remembers the lovable antagonist Donkey Kong from his arcade game in the 80s, right? After that, Donkey Kong was featured in other games with his name in the title. However, he was never made a true protagonist. That all came to a grinding halt with the 1994 release of Donkey Kong Country. Well, technically, the Donkey Kong in DK Country is actually the grandson of the angry monkey in the arcade game. Cranky Kong was the original DK, but who cares about that old dude? We've got a new spiffy DK to play with. He's got a cool red tie and a sidekick with a red hat.
I like Spiffy DK. It shows that he can get work done during the day, then monkey down at night.
So our new DK has a sweet jungle pad on DK Island located right above his massive banana horde in a cave. When we start the game, DK explodes out of his house. If you choose to visit the horde below, you will find out quickly that it is missing. All of those bananas that have somehow stayed ripe after all this time have been stolen.
Who knows? Maybe that was just a day's worth of bananas. If that was the case, then he shouldn't be as angry as he actually is. Anyways, someone stole him, and now DK's pissed.
Along this journey, DK is joined by other Kongs. Obviously, there's Cranky Kong. He is old and wise and gives you helpful hints. Then there's Candy, who lets you save. She's followed up by Funky, who lets you travel around the island. Then there's my absolute favorite Kong, Diddy. Maybe it's the memories I have associated with the next game in the series, Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Kong Quest. I don't know, but for as long as I can remember, I absolutely have been obsessed with Diddy Kong.
Or as we affectionately know him as, Durdley Kurg.
That's all we really get for story. Somebody stole this dude's bananas, and there's gonna be hell to pay on the road to retrieving them. We eventually find out that the bad croc who stole them is King K. Rool, but we don't see him until the very end. Who you do see are the Kremlings, his evil minions that hold you back any way they can.
The first thing that everyone noticed back in the day, and newcomers notice now, is that DKC looks unlike any other game that came out before on the Super Nintendo. This was because Rare, the company that we know and love who developed it, used the revolutionary technique of pre-rendered 3D graphics. This included everything in the background and the foreground. They pioneered this form of game development, and many other developers followed suit.
Many of you are going to bring up that Killer Instinct came first, but that was originally an arcade game and later came to the SNES in 1995. We're talking SNES here first, man.
Rare was also solely responsible for the redesign of Donkey Kong. He needed to be taken from 2D to 3D, and Rare was up to the task. Up until Rare split from Nintendo, Rare held the copyright to DK's revamped image. Not only were they tasked with redesigning DK, but they also created very unique and memorable characters that surrounded him. From Cranky to Funky, this game has a cast that is not easily forgotten.
The soundtrack is filled with many jungle-themed tracks. Lots of percussion and other tribal sounds fill your ears as you play through the game. Interestingly enough, the soundtrack for the game was released many months after the game's release as DK Jams. Even cooler than that, my favorite folks over at OC Remix decided to tackle DKC's soundtrack, and they did a phenomenal job. You're going to be hearing quite a few of their tracks throughout this review.
Check out the Gangplank Galleon music.
Metal Monkey.
Donkey Kong Country's levels are one of the few gripes I have with this game. For the most part, they're pretty simple and single-leveled with few secrets here and there, but there is a difficulty jump unlike any other within this game. There are a few levels here and there that just make me want to pull out my beard. Pretty much any minecart level or stupid barrel levels. It was annoying how some levels are a complete breeze. I wanted a bit more balance when it came to difficulty.
Who cares?
Metal Monkey.
If you couldn't tell by now, Donkey Kong is one of your good old classic platformers. Donkey Kong and Diddy pound their way through 40 different levels, ranging from jungles to snow-peaked mountains. You can always choose to play as DK, but if you find a DK barrel, you can also play as Diddy Kong. DK is big and strong, while Diddy is quick and agile. Whoever you choose, when they are together, you now have one extra hit. By the way, it only takes one hit to knock out Diddy or DK, so getting extra lives is a must.
You'd think that a giant classy monkey wearing a tie would be able to take more than one hit.
Throughout each level, there are a fair amount of things to collect. The main items are bananas, DK barrels, which spawn your partner, balloons that are extra lives, and the letters KONG. Then, there are the golden animal statues that if you collect 3 of them, they take you to a bonus level.
Speaking of animal statues, there are 5 different animals that will help you on your journey throughout DK Island. There's Rambi the Rhino, who you can ride to Destructing Victory, Espresso the Ostrich, who is fast as hell and has a little bit of a flutter, On Guard the Swordfish, who swims lightning fast, Winky the Frog, who hops his way to glory, if you want to call it that, and the most frustrating, Squawks the Parrot. Remember when I told you about levels getting difficult? That's all Squawks is. Difficulty in bird form.
These levels feel a lot like the underwater levels in TMNT.
When it comes to combat, this game isn't exactly quite like Mario. You'd think that if a massive ape jumped on a crocodile, it might knock the wind out of them. Nope, you have to be a bit more clever than that. This game requires you to jump, roll, or if you're DK, slam on the ground a lot. It gives the gameplay a much more unique feel, and it is something that is now instantly recognizable as DK.
So the way you get around is the world map. You progress through an area, and at the end, there is a boss. Let me tell you that some of the bosses are just flat out easy. I think that the bosses are such a letdown after making it past some of the most ridiculously impossible levels ever. After an area is cleared, you move on to the next themed area. Here's where Funky comes in handy. He allows you to travel back to areas that you've already beaten. This is nice if you find out that you missed a secret somewhere.
Try DK Airlines, the only airlines where the jet is made entirely of palm tree wood. Really, the only airlines where anything is made of wood. Is wood flammable?
With regard to secrets, every level has a fair amount of bonus levels that you need to fight for completionist's sake. Now, you don't really get anything in terms of rewards, you just get extra lives and such, but you'll know you found everything by looking at the world map. If there's an exclamation point at the end of the level title, you'll know you've completed that level.
The multiplayer aspect is almost non-existent. It's as multiplayer as Super Mario Bros. 1 is. Essentially, you and a friend will take turns playing as each individual Kong upon getting hit, or you can race against one another to the finish. For me, none of this really mattered as a kid, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do when you got a friend.
You've got a friend.
After traveling all over DK Island and stomping on everyone in your path, it is time to hop aboard Gangplank Galleon. Who's waiting on board but none other than the nasty King K. Rool himself. And you know what? That jerk is holding all of your bananas hostage, and it's time to pound this sucker. Well, not actually if he's wearing his crown. If you touch the king when he has the crown, you basically die. What you have to do is avoid the crown when he throws it, and then jump on his head.
Nope. Here follows one of the greatest fake outs in video game history. After the third hit, the king falls over and the credits start to roll. However, every word in the credits starts with a K. Suddenly, King K. Rool jumps back to life and throws his crown for one more attempt at taking down the donkey. Smack him one more time and he's down for good. The real credits roll, but then Cranky appears, and if you didn't complete every single bonus level, he says try again. However, if you completed everything...
Cranky tells you you did a great job and the horde is finally back where it should be. Then all the character animations are shown off one last time. Yep, there's a lot of them. Oh, look at DK and Diddy doing their thing. Wait, Cranky's back? Did he just say that he beat the game with one life and in less than an hour? I tell you, when I was a kid, this drove me insane. I couldn't believe that after all the work, he had the nerve to tell me that I wasn't done yet. Well, guess what? Not only is it unreasonable to finish this game with 101% in less than an hour, but doing it with one life is just impossible. Why? Who said I should do this? This was Look, I'm sorry, guys. That's not who I am. Doing this was hard, and I'm sorry. That's not. Alex, I wanna. Oh my God.
It turns out that it was just a joke that Rare threw in at the end of the game to make kids freak out. Well, Rare, in the end, the joke is totally on you.
Donkey Kong Country is deceptively difficult. Those damn ice barrel levels will drive you crazy, and some of the bonus levels are not only well hidden, but there's a big roadblock in the way of 101% in completing this game. In one of the last levels, Oil Drum Alley, there's a bonus level that actually contains 3 bonus levels in itself, and you have to beat all 3 levels on the first try. If you lose at any point, you cannot go back ever in trying for that bonus level. Your success for getting that 101% requires you to get all of them in one shot. And trust me, when we did this on Beard Brothers, I got really mad because I forgot all about this and I had to replay the entire game again. Ah well, whether or not this was intentional or a bug, it doesn't really matter, it's still fun. In terms of a completionist bonus, however, there really isn't one. The Cranky Kong ending doesn't really provide anything worth exploring, diminishing the need to get 101%.
Who needs 101% when you can just be a
Metal Monkey.
Donkey Kong Country was the beginning of a beautiful relationship between Rare and Nintendo. The 3D models on a 2D plane really showed off the true potential of the Super Nintendo. Yet as far as the completionist journey goes, kind of count me out. I mean, that last bonus barrel that's bugged so you have to start the game all over again, or in this case reset it, but I didn't remember that, so I ruined it, and I had to play the game again over, get 101%? Not really worth it. Sorry, Cranky. I don't feel like talking to you. With that in mind, this game gets our completionist rating of finish it.
Durgly to Kirklet.
That's all the time we have for today, guys. So as always, leave your thoughts in the boxes below. This Sunday, January 19th, we're going to be doing a live stream all day at twitch.tv/ThatOneVideoGerard, as well as twitch.tv/FossianiA. We're going to be streaming to raise money for the future productions of the Completionist, the decks, and other endeavors we got going on. We're also going to be doing a tour of our brand new office. Yes, this is it, a real thing, our brand new office where we're making all of our videos from now on, and we hope to see you guys there. I mean, I hope you're there.
I'll be there.
Greg's there.
Wait, were you asking me to go? I thought you were asking me to go.
Are you going?
Well, you said you wanted me to be there.
Well, yeah.
Were you talking to me, or were you?
I was talking to the
to?
camera, but...
Oh, well, the camera's going to be here.
Well, I know the
like,
camera...
it lives in the office.
Yeah, it's going to be here, but I don't know, like, the people watching are going to be there. I'm sending the invite to them.
People watching the camera? Is there somebody watching
Look,
the camera?
there's an audience that wants to see this camera
There's an audience?
go far. Yeah.
Where are they behind the blinds?
We have blinds?
We have a balcony.